مرحبا. This is Rihab EL-HELOU and welcome to the second lecture of the Phoenician alphabet hidden mysteries. In our first introductory video lecture, we saw a small introduction related to the Phoenician alphabet hidden mysteries. In this second lecture, we'll tackle letters ʻAūlāf and ʻMu. First of all, ʻAūlāf or ʻAūlāf is the first letter of the Phoenician alphabet, known as alpha in Greek and Coptic, ʻAūlāf or ʻAūlāf in Syriac, and aleph in Hebrew and Arabic, having a numeric value that equals to 1 according to the letter order in the Phoenician alphabet and to the Phoenician gematria numeric value, and denoting on our created circle the first hour after dawn as illustrated. Now, regarding the etymology of the name of the first letter of the Phoenician alphabet, which is ʻAūlāf, the term ʻAūlāf is composed of the two words ʻAūl and āf, where ʻAūl means the return or the returning in Arabic, Persian, and Turkish, and āf means the sun in Persian, noting that āf of the Phoenicians and Egyptians represents the body of the sun god of night, having the head of an Aries or of a ram. And as mentioned in the Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary of Ernest Wallace Budge, āf or āfu is the carcass of the sun god of night, or the dead body of Ra. He has the form of a ram-headed god, and his shrine is encircled by the serpent Mahan. Hence, ʻAūlāf means the return of the sun in the form of a ram, thus referring by its alphabetical order, which is the first letter of the Phoenician alphabet, and its etymological meaning to the constellation Aries, the first constellation of the zodiac. Now, we notice that the letter opposite to ʻAūlāf on our alphabet circle, as illustrated, is the 13th letter of the Phoenician alphabet ʻMu, known as ʻMu in Greek, Mi in Coptic, Mim in Syriac, Hebrew, and Arabic. Now, regarding the etymology of the name of the 13th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, which is ʻMu, the letter opposite to ʻAūlāf on the circle, the term ʻMu means water in most of ancient languages, and in ancient Egyptian, it particularly means the water god, the personification of the celestial waters, and it also means the divine essence of Osiris. And what is remarkable is that according to the observations of Ptolemy, the appearance of the constellation of Aries, ʻAūlāf, during the month Aduru or March is accompanied by the disappearance of the common star at the river and at the foot of Orion. This allows us to conclude that the first letter of the Phoenician alphabet, ʻAūlāf, represents the first constellation of the zodiac, Aries, and the letter ʻMu opposite to ʻAūlāf represents the common star at the river and at the foot of Orion, noting that according to Phoenician Egyptian mythology, Aries, or the ram, represents the sun god Adonis Osiris. who, after being killed and brutally cut up by his brother Seth, or Hat, the scorpion, into 14 pieces representing the 14 phases of the moon, the goddess Isis Astari, or Ashtarut, pieced Osiris back together and used magic to resurrect Osiris, who, according to the legend, impregnated her before dying again with their son Horus, Apollo or Apollon, Jibil, the lion, and the Phoenician phoenix, represented by an eagle or a hawk. Now, the central theme of Osirian Adonis mythology is the dismemberment of this god by his brother Seth, an episode known in its narrative form from the writings of both Plutarch and Diodorus of Sicily. Noting that the dismemberment of Osiris is already mentioned in older pharaonic religious texts, such as the Coffin texts or the Book of the Dead, as well as in a large number of other sources from the pharaonic period. And back to our Phoenician alphabet, we've noticed that after the 8th letter Het of the Phoenician alphabet, representing the Scorpion constellation, as we're going to see through this lecture, we have 14 letters till the 22nd letter. And this leads us to the assumption that these 14 letters could represent the 14 pieces or shaqa'iq of the scattered Osiris Na'man by Het, the scorpion. So, based on the inscriptions and bas-reliefs of the temple of Osiris in Dendera, where the walls of one of the two courtyards which form part of this temple contain a long inscription describing in detail the bas-reliefs illustrating the stages of the restoration of the body of Osiris associated with the number of days of the half lunation. So, based on the order of relics in Dendera, we distributed the pieces Shaqa'iq al-Nu'man, or the relics of Osiris, on our Phoenician alphabet circle, starting from the first letter after the letter Het, representing the scorpion. So the head at letter Tit, the 9th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the feet at letter Yot, the 10th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the bones at letter Kaf, the 11th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the arms at letter Lamad, the 12th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the heart at letter Mu, the 13th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the interior at letter Nu, the 14th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the tongue at letter Samak, the 15th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the eye at letter Ain, the 16th letter of the Phoenician alphabet. And here's our first obvious pattern, because the word Ain in Arabic, Hebrew, Persian, Turkish, and Amharic means eye. Now, the fist at letter Fa, the 17th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the fingers at letter Sadi, the 18th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the back at letter Qufi or Qafa, the 19th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the ears at letter Ra, the 20th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, the loins at letter Shin, the 21st letter of the Phoenician alphabet, and finally the body at letter Tau, the 22nd and last letter of the Phoenician alphabet. Now, back to the opposed Phoenician letters on our circle, starting with ʻAūlāf and mu. ʻAūlāf, being the first letter of the Phoenician alphabet, is also the first hour after dawn, and mu, the opposed letter to ʻAūlāf on our circle, being the 13th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, it can also be considered as the first hour after sunset. And what is remarkable is that ʻAūlāf means the return of the sun, where af means the sun, as we've previously seen, which makes us think of the solar clock or the sundial, noting that the shape of the Phoenician letter ʻAūlāf could represent the gnomon of this sundial, which casts a shadow onto the dial. As the sun appears to move through the sky, the shadow aligns with different hour lines, which are marked on the Phoenician dial or any ancient sundial to indicate the time of day. While mu means water, as we've previously seen, leading us to assume that after sunset, the Phoenicians used to use a water clock, by which time after sunset is measured by the regulated flow of water into a vessel, and where the amount of water is then measured. And what is remarkable is that the heart relic of Osiris is on letter mu, as we've previously seen, leading us to a new pattern that the gnomon of the water flow or the rhythm of the water flow is equated with the heart pulse, which is equal to 1 second. This earthenware vessel, similar to the heart that acted as a clock, had a tiny hole allowing the water to drip, drop by drop, in correlation with the heart's pulse rate. Now, the markings on the side of the bowl divide the night into 12 increments, where each increment representing 1 hour. So again, according to our circle of the Phoenician alphabet and the distribution of the relics of Osiris, Adonis, Naaman on this circle, the relic heart corresponds to the constellation Aries, the letter ʻAūlāf or Aleph, and to the common star at the river and at the foot of Orion, the letter mu mim. So since the Phoenician letter mu, opposed to the Phoenician letter ʻAūlāf or Aries, is the 5th letter after the letter Het, Scorpion, thus representing the 5th relic of Adonis Osiris, which is the relic heart. And what is remarkable is that the consumption of lamb's heart rich in Q10 improves human cardiac performance, noting that according to Eastern musical tradition, the musical mode Rast or Suzinak is associated with the constellation Aries. And this is illustrated in As-Saydawi's drawing of the model tree circle, and also pointed out by Al-Ladiqi, As-Salafi, As-Samarqandi, the treatise on the tree, the manuscript Anonym 36, and the manuscript MS Gotha 85. And what is remarkable is that the word Rast means in Persian hardy, and the word Suzinak means in Persian behold heart burning, where Suz means heart burning and Inak means behold. So therefore we can conclude that the etymology of the words Rast and Suzinak refer to the heart, which is consistent with the content of the manuscript Gotha 85 that considers that the Rast musical mode, which corresponds to the Aries sign of the zodiac, is used for generalized paralysis and apoplexy linked to heart attack or heart failure. Noting that the musician Al-Kindi in his tetrad associates the Aries sign of the zodiac with the heart organ. Noting that the month Aduru, Adar, Adar, March, the month of the appearance of the constellation Aries, represented by the Phoenician letter ʻAūlāf, and the disappearance of the common star at the river and at the foot of Orion, represented by the Phoenician letter Mu, bears the name of the god Aries, Aduru, Azar, Ozar, Osiris. It is also interesting to point out the conversions between the two terms Aduru and to adore. It is interesting also to note that the final sum of the numerical values corresponding to the letters forming the words ʻAūlāf, Mu, Aduru, and Suzinak leads us to the number 1, indicating that ʻAūlāf is the first letter of the Phoenician alphabet and the first hour after dawn on the Phoenician sundial, and that Mu is the first hour after sunset on the Phoenician water clock, and that Aduru is the first month of the Babylonian Phoenician calendar, which is consistent with the association of the month Aduru and the letters ʻAūlāf and Mu with the constellation Aries, the first constellation on the circle of the zodiac, as already mentioned. Thus, the first letter of the Phoenician alphabet, ʻAūlāf or Aleph, whose name stands for the return of Aries or the return of the sun in the form of a ram, and the opposite letter to ʻAūlāf, which is the letter Mu, the 13th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, whose name means water. These two letters encompass different constituents of the universe: the Aries sign of the zodiac, the Aries god Osiris, the first hour after dawn on sundial regarding the letter ʻAūlāf, the first hour after sunset on the water clock regarding the letter Mu, the musical mode Rast or Suzinak, and the healing of the heart organ. And this was everything related to letters ʻAūlāf and Mu, and in our next recorded video we will tackle letters Bat and Nun.